Just like many of you, I'm getting ready for Christmas with gifts and decorations. In this quick video, I show you how to cut and build this charming Advent lamp in under 30 minutes, including the time the laser cutter does its work. The design comes from Creatorally, and I'll be using my Monport Onyx R 55W CO2 laser to cut it from 3.2mm plywood. Plus, I'll share tips for tweaking Lightburn settings to match any laser cutter or material. Hi, I'm Gergo, and welcome to Gergo Print 3D, our YouTube channel where we dive into adventures with laser cutters and 3D printers. Feel free to explore. We've tackled many exciting DIY projects and tested various devices, often with my little nephew. As with all our videos, chapter markers and curated translation-ready subtitles are available for your convenience. I have other devices like the MacPow X5 from geekbuying.com, which has a much larger work surface and could have handled this cutting job in a single take. However, I can only operate these open frame lasers on my porch. And as the weather cooled, the Monport Onyx R55 quickly became my favorite laser cutter. Its enclosed design and efficient venting system make it perfect for indoor use. Creatorally approached us to offer their designs and materials. As I browsed their website, this Christmas lamp immediately caught my eye. I don't know about you, but this peaceful, warm scene with the snowy little church and trees perfectly captures the spirit of the Advent season for me. Although it looks complex, I was pleasantly surprised by how easy it was to create. I also picked up a few valuable lessons along the way that I'd like to share with you. With a relatively fast CO2 laser like the Monport Onyx R, cutting takes about 10-15 minutes, and assembly can be completed in 15-20 minutes. So unless you take extra time to enjoy the process, you can have a lamp like this ready in just 30 minutes. The design specifies 3.5mm material, and Creatorally will be sending their materials for future projects. For this build, however, I used plywood I already had on hand, which I measured at only 3.2mm thick. The thickness matters because the joints and slots in the design are sized accordingly. To ensure everything fit properly, I scaled down the entire design. I selected all the elements, logged the aspect ratio, and used a formula in the width field to adjust. And yes, we can actually do that in Lightburn, multiplying the width by the measured 3.2 and dividing it by the original 3.5. One advantage of the Onyx R is its material camera, which allowed me to make use of the smallest scraps of leftover wood. After making a test cut, I found the fit was still quite loose. The original design must not have accounted for kerf or beam diameter. I adjusted further, scaling down to just 3.1mm, this time multiplying by the 3.1 and dividing by the previously updated 3.2. You'll see why I wish I hadn't done this final downscale, but in the end, everything worked out. Creatorally provides a Lightburn project neatly arranged within a 684 by 362mm workspace. However, few laser cutters can accommodate such a large layout as is. So we are expected to rearrange the pieces to fit our device and material. The design includes 3 larger C-shaped pieces that form the layers of the scene, 2 rectangular horizontal platforms, and a variety of smaller components that can be freely arranged within the cutout pattern. Do you use these edit toggles in the lower left corner of the Lightburn UI? I love them. Since we already scaled the design globally, I turned off the size and shear controls. If grain alignment is essential for your project, you'd also want to disable rotation and then move the pieces around without worrying to resize or rotate them. I wish Creatorally had grouped the individual parts of each piece in the Lightburn pattern. Instead, we need to manually group internal shapes with their corresponding outer objects to ensure they stay together. I started by creating these groups. Additionally, some paths are red on layer 10 and are intended for engraving only. So it's important to keep them separate from the blue cutting paths that are on layer 27. While some materials and projects might benefit from grain alignment, I didn't have to worry about that here. I rotated and moved parts around to make use of every last square inch of this sheet. The Monport Onyx R has an effective work surface of 430 by 290 millimeters, but my starting piece of plywood was slightly narrower. As you can see, I managed to compact the model quite efficiently. I was able to fit everything onto the first sheet except for 3 larger pieces. They will go on a subsequent sheet. To keep the plywood completely flat, I use my self-designed and 3D printed pins to secure the material to the honeycomb bed. The camera feature also helps us align the pattern with the material. I use the laser position tool to click the center of the work area and perform an automatic focus probe there. It's great that the Monport Onyx R can do this. Then manually switch on the inline fan, as this process produces a lot of smoke that needs to be vented out. Remember to set your layer order correctly. Etch or engrave first and cut last. The engraving job itself only takes a few seconds. The engraved lines look sharp and clean at 100 millimeters per second speed at 30% power. However, at this stage, I disabled the output for the cutting layer, and let me explain why. In this previous video, I showed how I adjusted the focus offset 3 mm higher than the factory setting for laser sharp engraving. If you haven't seen that part, be sure to check it out. For efficient cutting, it's better to lower the lens to focus 2 mm deeper inside the material before starting the cutting phase, simply by clicking the down arrow twice in the Move tab. Then we enable the cut layer and start the cutting job. The focus adjustment allows me to increase the speed of my originally tested 2x30/70 profile to 40 millimeters per second speed, and I avoid going over 70% power and find that 2 quicker passes produce less soot than a single slower pass would. This small manual adjustment saves us 3 minutes, reducing the total time for this complex cutting project to just 9 minutes, a 20% reduction. I only wish the Ruida software supported Lightburn's built-in Z control features, but it doesn't seem to work with this particular device. Finally, we cut the remaining 3 pieces from leftover material with enough unused space, and with that, we are ready to assemble. Before we dive into that though, let me invite you to download my Lightburn material libraries for this and my other laser cutters. They are a work in progress, but could help give you a running start with your device. You'll find the links below, right next to the like and subscribe buttons, which would be amazing if you clicked while you're there. Thank you if you did. I was surprised at how quickly this could be put together, and I think I found the best order of steps. Start by gluing the church roof pieces to the engraved front sides of the second and third layers, as these will need a bit of time to set properly. Next, assemble the little house that will go in the front. Apply a small amount of glue to the edges of the roofed walls on their back sides. After attaching them to the other two wall pieces, glue the undersides of the roofs and secure them in place. It's best to affix the little house and the other pieces to the upper platform at this point. Be careful though to use the rightmost slot for the street lamp. The slot in front of it serves a different purpose, you'll see. We also add the two remaining pine trees to the base platform. And with this, we arrive at the hardest part of the assembly, which I made even more challenging for myself by scaling down the slots and gaps a little bit too much. Finding the right balance is tricky. You don't want them too loose, but scaling 0.1 millimeters below the material's measured width made the fit extremely tight for me. I started by inserting the two back layers into the base and then tried sliding in the upper platform. However, I ended up needing to remove the base and apply quite a bit of force until I finally managed to align the platform and layers perfectly. Okay, so we insert the first layer into the base and then attach the assembled back layers with the upper platform onto it. My fit was so snug that I didn't even need to use glue here. Finally, I added the four little spacers. I inserted them first, then used a small stick to apply glue to their ends and middle before pushing them all the way in. All in all, it took me just 19 minutes to assemble and I had fun the whole time. There's plenty of space inside if you want to add LED lights. I recommend these ones from AliExpress. They can change color and even be controlled remotely with an IR controller or phone app. We use the same for our night lights in this earlier video. I opted for an even simpler setup though, soldering a piece of white 5-volt cob LED strip to the end of an old USB cable. There are countless options, just be cautious not to use anything high current as it could become a fire hazard. You can find this exact model and other beautiful ones on Creatorally's website, along with their high quality materials like these colored plywood and acrylic sheets. If you do, please use my affiliate links below to help them see I brought you there. We will be testing their material in a follow-up video. If you are thinking about getting into laser cutting or have already tried bare bones diode lasers, I recommend starting with or upgrading to a CO2. The Monport Onyx R55 is one of the more affordable options for a DIY workshop or even a small business that offers all the essentials and more: enclosure, venting, cooling, enough power, and even quality of life features like the material camera and autofocus. If you're interested, please use my affiliate links for these two and the coupon code GERGO10 for a significant discount on everything on their website. Exciting and unexpected developments have us preparing to test a very high value surprise 3D printer next, something that is very different from anything I had before. My first impressions are coming very soon, a true Christmas treat for us and something curious for all of you. Until then, I wish you all peaceful, and creative Christmas preparations, whether you're using your laser cutter or 3D printer, let's go print 3D. Thank you for staying all the way to the end of this Gergo Print 3D video. Merry Christmas!